And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this very special segment, the real estate update with Usha Chandra.
It's time now for Real Estate Update. With Usha Chandra of Globenet Realty, real estate is our world.
Now we're standing here face to face.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this segment once again, Real Estate Update with Usha Chandra. And of course, we know that very strange times that we are living in. We've just had the snap lockdown. We'll talk all about that and find out what sort of impacts it had. Of course, last week we had the REIQ come on and talk about that as well. So with that, welcome to the show, Usha.
Thank you so much for having me on the show, and have a great day. Thank you so much for having me on the show, Australian Indian Radio and Brisbane Indian Times.
Well, it's wonderful to have you on the show, and interesting times in real estate. So let's get into the show straight away. And of course, the first thing we always look at to gauge the market are the auctions. So what have been happening in the auction scene?
Yes, let's have a quick look at the auction results in the major capital cities. Sydney, the clearance rate was 80%, so the Sydney market has gone down as well. There was total number of properties taken to auction was 576, and 403 properties were sold under the hammer. Looking at Melbourne market was quite down as well. 73.5% was the result, clearance result. 710 properties were taken to auction, 411 were cleared sales under the hammer. Brisbane 67.4%. In the last result we talked, the Brisbane market was quite high, 75 point something percent, but there was a total number of properties taken to auction was 160, and the cleared properties were only 93, so then only 93 sold under the hammer. Adelaide was 78%. Adelaide's market has gone down as well. It was in the 80s before in the previous week's result. So there was 93 properties taken to auction, only 46 properties sold under the hammer. Perth was 70.6% was the cleared auction results. Total number of properties taken to auction was 22, and 12 were sold under the hammer. Tasmania was not applicable. There was no auctions in Tasmania at all. Canberra was 86.7%. Canberra's market has gone down as well. 111 properties were taken to auction, only 78 sold under the hammer. So looking at the average was 76.4% cleared auctions. There was total number of properties, houses were taken to auction was 1,672, and 1,043 were cleared sales under the hammer. Let's quickly have a look at the clearance rate last year compared to this time. So the total number of auctions were 58%, whereas compared 80%. 640 properties were cleared auctions in Sydney. Melbourne was 63.7%. 294 properties were cleared at auctions. Brisbane was 40%, was quite low there. 104 properties were sold under the hammer. And 78 at Adelaide compared to 56%, where now at the moment is 78%. 44 properties sold there. Perth was 70% clearance rate now, and 23% was last year. Tasmania was not applicable at all. Not a single auctions took place in Tasmania last year. Canberra was 72%, so Canberra's market is now a little bit higher as well. 51 properties only sold under the hammer in last year's auction results. So that tells you the results. I mean, the market is doing fairly well compared to last year, but the market has gone down a little bit compared to the last results we spoke about.
Well, that's interesting. You're looking at those results there, and of course, when I look at the total number of auctions, we had 710 in Melbourne. So see what we've been talking about in the last few ones. We were talking about what's going to be happening in Melbourne, and you can see there 0 in Tasmania and 710, which the top number of auctions was in Melbourne. Wow, that's great. Well, right now let's move on, and right now, of course, looking at those auctions, of course, let's find out what that results to in terms of capital city home values.
Yes, capital city home value changes. So weekly result was Sydney was only 4%, 0.4%, sorry, and the 12-month change was 19%. Melbourne was 0.3%, and the yearly 12-month change was 11%. Brisbane was 0.4%, yearly change was 16.4%, and Adelaide was 0.3%, and the 12-month change was 16%. So Brisbane and Adelaide is very similar results there. Perth was 0.2%, and 11.2% was the 12-month change. So the 5 capital combined cities, weekly change was only 0.4%, and the year to 12-month change was 15.5%. So that shows the results was pretty good compared to the previous year, and the weekly change is not a great change, but 0.4 and 0.2%, between 0.2 and 0.4%.
So when we look at overall year to date is 14.4. And the 12-month change is 15.5, so in between, so around 15% change. That is pretty good. That's a very good result. That's a good steady growth if you look at the 5 combined cities. Well, that's wonderful. Well, right now, let's move on. And of course, as we have always mentioned, that you only as rich as the number of listings you have in real estate. We've always maintained that, listings is the source of your income. If you don't have listings, you don't have nothing to sell. So what's been happening listing-wise, what's being listed, throughout the country, and looking at mainly the 5 capitals, and look at the number of listings and what's happening in that scene.
Yes, absolutely. If you don't have the listings, you can't sell anything. So let's have a quick look at the Sydney markets. The total number of listings was 4,749, and the 12-month change was minus 25.9%, and Melbourne was 6,282 properties were listed, new listings. So the total number of listings to date was 24,272. Brisbane market, 3,835 new listings came on the market. So total number of listings year to date was 14,203, and it was still minus 29%. Adelaide was 1,303 new listings. Year to date was only 4,655. So more new listings came in Adelaide market in the last week, and Adelaide market was still minus 27%. Perth was 3,550 new listings. Year to date was 14,270, and they're still minus 14%. Hobart was 246 new properties. 596 was the total listings year to date. So you can see the listings have increased in all the areas, in all the major cities, still, it was minus 36.9%. Darwin was 184 new properties listed, and 790 properties year to date, and still minus 9.3%. Canberra was 631 new properties came on the market. 1,523 year to date properties were listed, minus 25.5%. So looking at the major capital cities, 20,780 properties came on the market, and year to date was 77,177. Still it's minus 17%. Looking at the only plus area is Melbourne, as we are always talking about Melbourne.
Yes.
Melbourne market is really good. Still there's a lot of properties, and that's only the plus area, because everywhere else the market is pretty hot.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So if you look at, if I look at the graph, as you've just rightfully mentioned, 2%, that's the only one which is in plus,
Yeah.
and The biggest loss is in Hobart, where it's gone into minus 36 and
yeah.
plus 2% in Melbourne. So, exactly following this graph, paints a very good picture. We can see that on a weekly basis, and looking at that 6,282 listings there,
Yeah.
the top number of listings on the chart as well, and in the plus there. So, and we know what's been driving that as well. So we've been talking about that on the show. So, ladies and gentlemen, right now moving on, so we'd like to now know about we've looked at the auctions, we've looked at the listings, we've looked at the price changes. So let's see what about the private treaty, because of course, as you have rightfully mentioned in the last segment, that many people still prefer private treaty. So what's been happening in that scenario?
Yes, a lot of people still prefer private treaty. Looking at the capital cities again, Sydney, 1,848 number of sales happened, and their median price is 935,000. So it's pretty steady. The price is holding there. If you compare their auction results was down in all the areas, in all the major capital cities, but private treaty is the way a lot of people prefer to buy. Melbourne was 1,733 properties. Melbourne market has gone fairly down again. 710 is their median price. If you look at that, the market in the previous weeks, the Melbourne market was pretty good, but I think due to this COVID again and lockdowns, the market has gone down again there. 710 is their median price. Compared to Sydney, about 200,000 plus is their price actually. Brisbane, 983 new properties were sold as private treaty, and the price is 560. The Brisbane price was gone a little bit down, 5,000. Last result was 565 was their median price. Looking at Adelaide, 708 properties were sold as private treaty. 496,000 is their median price. It's holding pretty steady there. Looking at Perth, 1,043 new homes were sold under the private treaty. 500 is their price. Their price is pretty steady there as well. Hobart is 136 properties sold. 635,500 is their median price. So Hobart price is quite steady as well. And you can see Hobart, nobody wants to auction. There is no auctions at all, and only private treaties. So people prefer to buy as a private treaty, not at auctions in Hobart. Looking at Darwin, 62 number of properties sold, 570 is their price, so their median price is quite steady there as well. Canberra is 40 number of properties sold as private treaty, 922,500 is their private treaty price as well. So if you look at Canberra, the auction result was very similar to the price which is private treaty. So people don't want a lot of pressure, they still want to buy with private treaty, and they're paying good dollars there as well in private treaty. So combined capital cities, 6,553 properties sold, and the average median price for the combined cities 692,832. So let's have a quick look at the apartments and units. Let's have a look at the Sydney markets. Number of sales 1,241 and 699. So 700,000 is their median price for apartments. Whereas compared to Melbourne, you can buy a house for 710,000. 901 properties sold in Melbourne. 546 was their price, median price for apartments and units. Brisbane was 308. 412 is their median price. Brisbane apartment price has increased, as we talked about before, that due to Olympics, the market will go higher in the apartments, especially in the inner city area. 308 sales. Compared to the last couple of weeks results we did, the median price was in the higher 300s. Adelaide, 248 units in apartments, 346 is the average price. Perth was 303 apartments, 416 was their median price. So that's pretty steady as well. Hobart is 38 properties, apartments sold, 509 is their median price, is quite steady. Darwin is 34, so 427 is their median price, and Canberra 131. The Canberra market, apartment prices is 465, which is quite, compared to the houses, the market in apartments is quite affordable for people who want to buy and invest in apartments. Looking at the capital cities, 3,204 properties in apartments sold, 559 is their median price. So looking at again between houses and apartments, it's 50% basically.
Basically, that's been the go across the board. Every week we've been looking at that. One of the things that I did really notice was, in the houses, not the unit and apartment prices, in the house prices. That Sydney, the median price was 935, and Canberra 922. So wow, and Canberra's getting on par on Sydney, but maybe there's scarcity because there's not that many coming on the market because they had only 40 sales compared to the 1,848 in Sydney. So that might be the thing. But it is interesting to note that the prices there, the median price, and we'll talk about that median price, how the median price is worked out, probably in one of the episodes. Well, right now, moving on, so let's quickly look at the vendor discounts and the time that properties remain on the market.
Yes, let's have a quick look at the Sydney market. Medium days on the market is 30 days, and medium discount is minus 2.2% in Sydney. So there's not too much discount there. Melbourne 34 days, still minus 2.5% is their vendor discount. Brisbane is 35 days. Minus 2.7% is the vendor discount. Adelaide has been 32 days, minus 3.3%. Perth has been 40 days, minus 2.4%. Hobart has been on the market 21 days, not applicable at all. As we talked about Hobart, there's not much applicable there because of the scarce of the property as well, and not many auctions happening there. Darwin 38 days, minus 2.2%. Canberra 33 days, there's no vendor discount at all because the market is pretty hot there, and a lot of there's always demand and supply situation. Of course, there's a lot of buyers in Canberra and not many properties on the market, so there's no discount for any buyers. Looking at units and apartments, medium days on the market, it's been 42 days in Sydney, minus 2.2% vendor discount. 48 days in Melbourne, minus 2.3%. Brisbane 49 days, minus 2.3%. Adelaide is 39 days and minus 1.5%. Perth, let's have a quick look, 47 days and minus 3.6%. Hobart is 23 days, not applicable at all. Darwin is 41 days, they're not giving any discount at all. Canberra, 37 days, minus 2.2% is the vendor discount. Looking at Canberra about the houses, there's no discount in houses, but in apartments and units and townhouses, there is a discount there because the prices are a little bit cheaper there in townhouses. And maybe there's more supply in townhouses than houses.
Well, the one thing that stands out from that graph there is the unit sales in Brisbane, which is the highest, this being on the market for the most number of days, which is 49 days. Well, right now, let's move on with the show. And looking at your own area, so what's been happening in your local area? Would you like to talk about Globenet Realty?
Yes, Globenet Realty, as you know, has been there for 32 years. We are based on a very busy main road. The sales are pretty steady there. We have got quite a number of sales which has already happened. The number of listings is the problem there. We haven't got too many listings. We are looking for listings. We are offering free marketing as well and free advertising free appraisals to get more listings, because we have got a lot of buyers waiting on our database. As soon as a property comes, we have got multiple buyers come through the property and multiple offers as well. So listings are very tough at the moment. So hopefully we'll get a few more listings which we can talk about next week. There's a new listing in Bray Park which we have got open house coming this Saturday, and I think it will sell on Saturday at the first open house. We have got multiple inquiries and a lot of people are looking to buy investment. So it's a great investment, brand new roof, it's refurbished home, currently rented for $400 a week, ideal for investors. So it's on 607 square meters, so that's a very good property. Hopefully it will sell on the weekend at open house, and it's open at 10 o'clock. It's 28 Evergreen Street in Bray Park, and that will be open from 10 to 10:30. Let's have a quick look at the rentals. Rentals is quite high in demand as well. I mean, I was speaking to our property manager Vicky, and she said that rentals are very scarce. She's got a few properties coming on the market, new listings coming on the market, and she's already got lined up of prospective tenants to inspect the property, and hopefully she'll rent it before it goes on the market. So she has already got lined up of a couple of prospective tenants, which the houses will be ideal and suitable for them. So operating under COVID is extremely hard for us. So that's what we couldn't do any inspections like.
So when you're talking about that it's been hard, yes. So what under those conditions, how did you go about with your inspections?
I hardly did any inspections because I was more than 10 kilometers away from the office, but the girls did 1 or 2 inspections but following the COVID restrictions and guidelines. So we had couple of the property managers did couple of inspections, and I did one in Nanda actually, which is only 9 kilometers from my home. So it was very tough. I mean, masks and all the hand gloves and all that is in place, but fortunately I inspected it and I sold it on the same day, so which is really good. So yeah, it's been tough. I think it's been tough for everybody under COVID restrictions and lockdowns. So a lot of people are suffering, and so it is hard for all business owners as well. Plus people staying home and schooling, everything is really hard for everyone. Hopefully we'll control this COVID situation, and lot more things will open up, and the life will continue, and we'll do good business in the near future.
Well, definitely you will, and of course, it is wonderful to see that even under such strict conditions, the industry has been able to adapt and carry on the business. So that shows the resilience of the industry, the resilience of the people running it, and of course the adaptability, which is a great value that people have, is under all circumstances needing to adapt. So if you talked about adaptability, if you look at real estate from the time you started to the time that we've come on now, so many different changes have been implemented. We used to attend so many seminars at REAQ, all of a sudden this is going to change, that form is going to change, national privacy policy came in and that was going to be the end of the world, and so many different changes have come on. Regulations, rules, and of course the licensing requirements and all of those. But the industry still goes on, houses still need to be sold, people still need to buy, industry goes on, and that's due to the adaptability.
Absolutely. The houses and the demand is there. If people don't have the properties, they can't live anywhere. We don't want people to be living on streets. So we have to follow the rules and regulations and adapt whatever the condition comes in.
Of course, one of the life's necessity is a house. A place to live. Then, of course, people need things to eat, and clothes. So, the three things are very necessary. So once again, Usha, thank you so much for being on the show and sharing that valuable information with us. Hopefully we'll have some better news next week in terms of listings and sales. But those graphs there are very good, and I think it's very, very beneficial for all our viewers and listeners.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Globenet Realty. Globenet Realty has been the longest established, trusted and respected agency in its trade area. Usha Chandra, Director of Globenet Realty, provides honest and ethical service to her customers. If you are thinking of investing in Brisbane real estate market, or if you are seeking professional property management, then you should contact Usha Chandra today on landline 3865 4466 or mobile 0419 775 416. And for further updates, log on to our website www.globenetrealty.com.au. Globenet Realty is your own local real estate agency. Situated at Shop 52281 Sandgate Road, Boondall. Globenet Realty. Real estate is our world.